What's up? I'm Brandon. I sing for Bleeding Through. We started in 1999 in our bedroom of our drummer's house, and didn't think we'd ever put out a record or a demo or a tour. And here we are 11 years later. We're still touring. We just put out our record number 6. Gonna go home after this tour and work on record number 7 and see how it goes. Personally, it's kind of like a tie between two. I like Declaration and I like the new self-titled record. I think the reason why I like those records the most is because I think the aggression kind of comes out a little bit more fierce on those records. You know, we still have like the melodic elements, but it's even the melodic elements of the records come out a lot more intense, and I think that's what we try to do with every record, is make it more intense. So I don't know. I like the new stuff. I think you're supposed to like the new stuff if you're playing in the band. You know what I mean? But there's some people that will say that they like their older stuff a little bit better. But I think our new stuff gets better with every record. We started kind of infusing more of like a traditional like Scandinavian like black metal sound to it and stuff like that. You know, we've always stayed true to what we like believed. It's just like, you know, we're a metal influenced hardcore band, and that's where our roots are. You know, it's kind of crazy to see like the evolution of like things and all the bands that are coming out these days, and you know, sometimes it makes me like snicker a little bit to myself, but you know, I think we've tried to stay true like the whole time. I mean, that's why we're still doing this. I mean, we've obviously tried to branch out into different tours. You know, we've been trying to spread like what we're doing and what we've come accustomed to like you know, playing for, like our scene and stuff like that. So that's why we do tours like Ozfest, and tours with Slayer, and tours with like bands like Bolton or Valentine, because we kind of feel that if those people see what we're doing as a band and like what we're promoting, which is like shows in like smaller clubs where kids are crawling all over each other and having a good time, that you know, they'll get that. It's sort of like an infectious thing. Motivating me these days, well, I mean, in the beginning, the motivation was just like, you know, me personally, I didn't know how to get through a lot of like emotional like hardships that I was having at the time. So I decided to write songs about it, and that kind of turned into this. But now what kind of motivates me is the simple fact that we've been a band for 11 years, and you know, it's going to be 12, it's going to be 13, it's going to be 14, and who knows how long we're going to do this for. It's like, you know, I think Bleeding Through's gotten to a point where we don't need to tour all year round anymore. We can do like a couple tours a year and still, you know, still pull the same kind of crowds. People still have energy in our 11th year and hope in that. And, you know, I really want to get to a point where we put out 10 records and still tour. It's kind of crazy. It's like, you know, I just turned 30 years old, and it's kind of crazy that, you know, some of the people at our shows are like 13 or 14 years old, and they weren't even born like when I started like touring, you know. So what kind of motivates us is knowing that every night there's going to be there's always going to be like new kids watching, you know what I mean, kids that haven't seen you for the first time, or are seeing you for the first time, or never heard you. And you know, touring with a band like For Today and a lot of younger bands, you know, you get up there, you're sort of like the older band, and you have something to prove, you know what I mean, because there's kids out there that haven't seen you play and don't know where you come from. So it's not necessarily like a competition of sorts. It's more or less like, you know, we gotta stick up for our generation. Yeah. So it's kind of motivating right there. So it's cool though. Good fun. For local bands starting up, I mean, I think what you gotta do is you gotta look at something that you're doing and try to figure out how to do it your own. The problem that I have with a lot of newer bands these days that we play, it's nothing. It's just bands are trying to reinvent the wheel. You know what I mean? It's like, where have we heard this part before? I mean, they're kind of just like taking other things. It's like, I think you gotta like look at your influences and take that, but then think about what can we do this to make this our own, and that's what's going to get you to that level. You know, being unoriginal will just get you a short-term success when that type of music is trending. You know what I mean? But trying to do it all your own, you're trying to start something different. The music industry needs it. Like, you know, the music industry and music in general needs good original bands these days, because I don't know. I think with the exception of a few, there aren't too many around here. And it's like, and I'm not trying to like diss bands, and I'm not trying to be that old bitter guy, but I'm just saying, it's like, I call it as I see it. There's some bands that are doing a great job, like bands like The Word Alive and For Today, that are doing a great job, like doing what they do. And then, you know, but I think sometimes bands that are starting out need to like figure out how to do their own thing.
Yeah.